Good morning and welcome to Bad Bat Hikes. Hello, my name is Beulah, aka Bad Bat on Trail, and I recently completed a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail. And I am here today to talk to you about things that no one tells you about thru hiking, things that I was surprised by, things no one thinks to tell you, whatever I, decide to title this video. We're going to talk about things. So I apologize if I am looking down. I'm also outside and there is a street close by, so if you hear cars, I'm sorry, but I thought it'd be nice to come outside and give us a woodsy background for today. Keep it, in theme. Starting off strong. No one knows what they're doing. I don't care if this is like your 15th thru hike. Like, everyone is going to make mistakes, and that is okay. At the beginning of a trail, I thought everybody was gonna be really experienced thru hikers, and I felt like I was coming in as a weekend backpacker and a short section hike backpacker, that I was gonna be behind. No, nobody knows what they're doing, so do not worry. Even at the middle and at the end, you're still making crazy mistakes, so nobody knows what they're doing. This is a big one that I haven't seen talked about a lot. People mention it in passing, and I think it's kind of understood, but I'm gonna say it anyways. What you see online of thru hiking and thru hiking culture, and even my own personal vlogs, that's a highlight reel. People tend to show the good. I tried very hard to show how hard trail was, the good and the bad, but even subconsciously, you're gonna show the good parts. You're gonna show the great parts, because those are the parts that personally I wanted to record and remember. But you have to think, most of my videos were 10 to 15 minutes long on trail, so that's 24 hours. You got to see 10 minutes. And that's the best parts or best bits or worst parts or worst bits of the day all squished down. So what you're seeing online is a highlight reel. So just remember that. A lot of people think that thru hiking or hiking in general is alone time, being one with nature, very peaceful always. And while bits of it, yes, I would say most of the time, I wouldn't use the adjective peaceful or calming, because at least with the AT, it was hard every day. And while yes, if I found a good spot for lunch that was peaceful, or I could hear the birds singing in the morning, every morning, I miss that so much, that was peaceful. But it's not all kumbaya peace. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of hubbub, there's a lot of go on trail, so it's not all peace and harmony and love. Here's one, and I might make a whole video about this depending if y'all want to hear about it, but not everyone stays in a hiking group for long periods of time. It was my understanding, because at least with AT culture, most people start by themselves or with a hiking partner, if a father-son team, or a father-daughter, mother-son, a couple of two friends, whatever, start together, that makes sense. But most people start by themselves and will hike around other people that they enjoy spending time with. It just kind of naturally happens, and that's what's called a tramily. When you start hiking around the same group of people, you start making plans around one another, etc. But it was my understanding before I left that most people got in a group and stayed in the group. And that's just not my experience, and not the experience of, I'd say, about 98% of people around me. I hiked with so many incredible people, and I'm so thankful that I met so many incredible people. But it's more of timing, people getting off trail, people's pace is changing. Like, you hike with a bunch of different people and you kind of shift around. You don't stay with one solid group from beginning to end for thousands of miles. And you might, like I said, everybody's hike is different, but going into it, that's what I thought would happen. And that's what I kind of was expecting. And that just wasn't it. Not that that was bad by any means. It was just different from what I was expecting. And I am so grateful that I met all of the people I hiked with. And I'm still in contact with a lot of them. But just having that kind of you'll get a trampoline and it'll stick attitude just isn't the case most of the time. This one's kind of a twofer. Number one, your sense of time disappears. At least for me, I didn't know what day of the week it was. I didn't know what month it was. I didn't know what day it was. I knew the sun came up, I started walking, the sun went down, I went to bed. And that was like my whole body clock. Like, your body clock changes, like the sun rises, you're up, the sun sets, you want to go to bed. And you have no idea what time is. And time moved so slowly for me. Like, the 6 months I was hiking felt like 5 years, and not in a bad way. It's just that's how I felt time was passing. It was just really, really slow, and I had no idea what time was when I was out there. And that kind of buddies up with your sense of distance becomes so whack. Like, before, if someone says, oh, like, it's a mile walk, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so far. Am I wearing the right shoes? And now I'm just like, oh, it's 1.2? Yeah, I can be there in half an hour. Like, it's bizarre. Like, your willingness to walk long distances. Like, I really felt this when I took a trip to New York through my hike. And I was like, oh my gosh, this restaurant's only 0.8 away. Like, it's right around the corner. But, like, not remembering that I was with people that hadn't been hiking for 5 months. And so, like, your sense of distance and willingness to walk places really increases, like, a lot. Another one that a lot of people just assume, and I kind of assume this too, is just decision making kind of disappears when you go on trail. Like, everyone, like, decision fatigue, like in real life, like getting up, like choosing what to eat for breakfast, choosing what clothes to wear, going to your job where you'll make decisions all day, and coming home and choosing this and choosing that. Like, a lot of people assume that just, like, goes away on trail because you wear the same thing every day. You only have, like, what's in your food bag to choose from. But, like, that's not the case. Like, decisions are still everywhere, they're just different. Like, you have to decide where you're gonna sleep every night. That's something that you don't do in real life. You have to decide where to stop, decide what town to go to, decide how many days of food. You have to decide, oh, am I going to get water here? Am I going to get water there? Am I going to tent it? Am I going to shelter it? Like, decisions are everywhere. And I was kind of anticipating to make less decisions than in real life, but it was pretty much equal, if not more. I wouldn't say more, but, like, decision making is pretty much the same. It's just different decisions. This one is huge, and my buddy Scorch and I talked about this on trail, but type 2 fun on trail is so real. And if you have never heard of type 2 fun, it's essentially like, while you're doing the thing, you're not having fun, you're not having a good time, but, like, afterwards, like, looking back, you're like, oh my god, it was great, and da-da-da-da-da. And I would not say that about the whole trail. I definitely had tons of fun while I was out on trail, but, like, you would, like, I don't know, like, you would get to the top of, like, a huge climb and you weren't having a good time getting up there. But as soon as you get up there, like, the next day when you're thinking about it, you're like, oh my god, it was amazing, it was great, it was wonderful, it was so much fun. But, like, in the moment of you hiking straight up with 35 pounds on your back, like, you weren't having fun in that moment. So type 2 fun is real, and nobody talks about that. It's normally like, like, everything's wonderful and everything's great, and it was wonderful and it was great, but in the moment sometimes through hiking is horrifically difficult, and you're not going to be having fun all of the time. It's a small world, and the AT is smaller. And a lot of people don't really talk about the fact that, like, it is such a tight-knit community. everybody knows everybody. Like if you say you ran into so-and-so, everybody at a shelter might have run into that person at some point. And like news travels so horrifically fast on trail. Like it is so small. And you would think, over 2,000 miles of trail and people don't have service and there's no way you can meet that many people, but word travels like wildfire through the trail. Everybody knows everybody and everybody's business. This is touched on some, but I would like to reiterate it because it's not talked about a ton, so I feel like it fits the context of this video. But your emotions while you're on trail and while you're like hungry, while you're thirsty, while you're cold and hot and uncomfortable out on trail, they're just multiplied by like 10. Like your highs are the highest highs and you feel like you're invincible and you can conquer the world. But like your lows will take you to the floor and just, oh my gosh. And that just yo-yoing effect, I had never experienced that like before trail. Just like, whoo, your highs are way up there and your lows are tanking you and everything in between. Just your emotions are times 10 when you're out there. I'm going to say this and have no comments afterward. Actually, I'll have one comment afterwards. Your chances of pooping your pants or peeing on yourself are huge. I did one of those two things. That is all. And just always be prepared is what I will say about that. This is one that I haven't heard anybody talk about, but the way I phrase it is the trail is magical, but not magic. Like a lot of people go out on trail to like a healing journey, or they're wanting to like get closer to nature. Like people have a lot of different reasons of going, but like if you are waiting for like the trail to tell you something, that's all you, babe. That's all you. The trail is dirt and rocks, lots and lots of rocks. It ain't magical, but it is magic. So a lot of the like goals that people have for like why they're hiking, that is all you. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. The trail's magical, but not magic. This is something that I experienced a ton, and not one person I don't think I've ever watched content, like AT content about, has talked about it. You will feel such immense pressure, and maybe it was just me, to put in the miles. Like, I woke up every morning. You're up, you're eating breakfast while you're walking, you're putting in the miles. So-and-so next to you is doing 25 per day. You got to put them in. So-and-so next to you started in March and you started in February. You got to put in the miles. You got to do it. And that pressure was a lot. And like one of my regrets, and this could be a whole video, like regrets of trail, I might make that, that's a good idea, is not taking more slow mornings. Like I was up and walking, eating as I walked. Like the amount of times I sat and like made a tea or made a hot chocolate or made a hot breakfast and just like chilled at camp and then started walking, I could count on one hand. It was just a go mentality that I got stuck in my brain. And some days it was great. I pushed miles and I felt amazing. It was wonderful. And some days I was like, man, I wish I could have, had a slower morning, or man, this is such a cool campsite. Okay, my camera overheated, which has never happened before ever. So pro tip, don't leave your action camera in direct sunlight in Tennessee. For long periods of time. It never did this once to me on trail. Anywho, I've only got one left, so we're gonna go handheld. So sorry if I'm shaking around, just like I vlogged every day for 6 months with y'all. But my last one I wanted to talk about is everyone is rooting for you. Haven't heard this said, so I'm mentioning it. Everyone you meet, everyone, if you're doing YouTube, who comments, everyone in your life, everyone is rooting for you. Nobody wants you to fail. Everyone is on your side. You are on a journey and they are so here for you in any way that they can be. But just know, everybody is rooting for you, and you are going to come across more humans than you can possibly imagine who are so kind on trail, who will tell you just that. So those are, some things that I didn't think a lot of people talked about, if anybody, about through hiking, and in my personal experience through hiking. the AT. So take all of those as you will. Comment if you have any more ideas about things that people aren't really talking about for the trail community, trail life. I'd love to hear what you think needs more attention in this community. So if you want more post-trail outdoorsy content, make sure to subscribe. I also have an Instagram account, but for now, happy trails.